Welcome back to the Beats with Kelly Kennedy from your host, and from our hearts to yours. I absolutely bring you this was one of my plans actually, to bring you Wolfgang Haas, who is the CEO of the Paracelsus clinic in Switzerland. But Wolfgang has worked within the healthcare form in this biological world for, I don't even honestly know how many decades, but many, many decades. And as far as I'm concerned, he is one of the foremost authorities, not only in biological medicine, but in how the body really works. And as you all know, that is the platform here on Not Meds, is to teach you how your body really works. And so I really am so pleased and honored to introduce you to Wolfgang Haas from Switzerland, who is here to exemplify the autonomic nervous system and how the body really works. Welcome, Wolfgang.
Thank you very much, Kelly. Welcome.
And so tell us a little bit about your background, if you would, so everybody can get to know you here in the States and worldwide that's watching this that doesn't already know you. But please give us a little bit about your background, if you would.
Yes, I love to do it. I had, let's say, always two tracks in my life. One was I was in the business world, which I am again now, and I was also working with people. After a while in my life, I really had my inner heart wish to do more for people than just sitting with them in an office. So I started my therapeutic training. I was for many, many years a kinesiologist. That's how I came into contact with the clinics in 1995 already. And then later on, I served the clinic also as a chairman for some time, and I was a CEO before already, and now I'm back at the clinic as CEO, and I still have some private clients, so I have, let's say, I work in both worlds.
And so those of you who don't know, kinesiology is another word for applied kinesiology, muscle response testing, that kind of thing. And what was your what were you doing with clients? Were you doing more nutritional work? You were doing more emotional work? What were you, this is a leading question. I kind of know what the answer is, but if you could share with them how you were using your kinesiology.
Yeah, in many different ways. In the beginning, I was, let's say, a hardcore kinesiologist. So I tested a lot. For instance, when I helped patients here at the clinic with kinesiology, beside the emotional mental work, very often we tested certain parts of the infusion they had a problem with. So I could identify this and I could work on this specific remedies. After that, they could tolerate it. So things like that. I did allergy work, things like that. I did not do nutritional work or something like that. But now, since many years, it's emotional, mental, spiritual work.
Wonderful. And so the concept of the kinesiology and the autonomic nervous system, can you explain a little bit? Because we've done one video podcast about muscle response testing. And thank you for your comment, by the way, on our Facebook Live the other day about muscle testing. But as far as the podcast, we had explained, just one person had explained muscle response testing. Dr. Howard Cohn had done that for us. So if you can further explain a little bit about that and how it relates to what it is, what are you testing? He explained it, but I would love you to explain a little bit about muscle response testing, if you would.
Yeah, I'd love to do it. So after many years and many, many controversial discussions with many people, today I say muscle testing is a fantastic instrument. It's a little bit of a problem that it is called testing, because then for many people who do not know it, it sounds like being something objective, and it is not. So that's the really important message. We test an energetic state. As you say, also in this Facebook post that was very well, it's an autonomic nervous response, and that can vary depending on the impulse the system is reacting. And if someone keeps that in mind, then it can be a fantastic instrument. It's easy, it's simple, And but doing it really efficiently, it's an art, as I commented also, you know. Yeah.
And let's talk about that. You know, it is subjective rather versus objective. So for those of you who don't really understand that, you know, an objective test is quantitative, it's reproducible, there's no influence, right? And the reason that I believe Wolfgang called it an arch form is because you're only as good of a muscle response getter. Now I'm going to start to not want to use the word testing, as you are, that you can blank out your mind. Like you don't care what the answer is, that you don't predict what that's going to say, right? And that's where the subject versus objective comes in. If I want you to test to get this IV, then I can probably make you test to get that IV. So right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, yes, yes. And
Yeah.
we have always to be open to the idea that even though we try to empty our mind and not to impose our idea on the outcome, it can happen because subconsciously, who knows what is running. But if you are open and if you are transparent with the patient or with the client about it, everything is fine. And what I do not do, I do not test blindly, exactly for that reason. I'm always explaining what we are testing.
And so for a lot of clients out there or practitioners that are watching this for the first time that maybe have not had exposure to muscle testing, or maybe they've been questioning it, we really want people to understand it is how your body works. And muscle testing is a great way to assess. We don't run away with a muscle test though. That's one way to look at the body. It's not every way, because we have different bodies. We have our physical body, we have our energy body, we have our mind's body, we have our spiritual body, right? And so there's different pillars, as Dr. Rao talked about the other day in the episode, where there's 3 pillars to health. And I know you're going to talk about a 4th pillar, which I'm very excited about. But in regards to the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, when somebody's learning this concept, what is your advice as far as using muscle testing? Because I know a lot of our clients are so dependent upon it, and then other clients won't, you know, they're like, I don't know. I think it should be right about in the middle. Where's your thought?
Well, is your question now related to a kinesiologist, a therapist, or to a client?
To a kinesiologist, because I have clients that will go to a medical doctor, right? And they go, oh, the medical doctor says get on this prescription. Then they come to us and go, here, will you test it? And I'm like, no, I won't. I'm not going to test something a medical doctor put you on, given your chemistry labs. That's not what this muscle test is for.
Exactly.
And I want people to understand it, because muscle testing is a great tool, but it's one tool, and it's not, because you're only testing one body essentially when you're looking at that, and there are some other things in there. It's a great guideline, but it's not an absolute. And I just want people to understand that, because when we taught this to clients, they ran away with it. They were like, should I marry him? Should I not marry him? I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot of pressure on your emotional body.
So that's a very good example. So both examples with a doctor, I would help test someone if the doctor agrees. So if they have a good communication with their doctor and say, would it be okay for you if I go to a kinesiology to test it? And if I have this okay, wonderful. And the other thing is, when you said, because that comes up very often when someone is new to muscle testing or muscle response. Oh, shall I leave my husband or my wife, etc.? And I say, I never test on a decision. But if you have a decision on your mind, I can help you with a muscle test, making a better decision.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And in your years of practice and experience, what is your takeaway in regards to the nervous system? And I mean, I'm putting you on the spot, I realize, Wolfgang, but in regards to helping clients, what is your favorite thing that you've done in the last many years, your takeaway with using kinesiology?
for me, it's an extremely elegant instrument to work extremely fast and coming to a depth I think I cannot reach otherwise.
Mm.
You know, I give you a little example from this morning.
Please.
I had a private client and a nice lady. She's a teacher, and she has gone through a difficult period in her life, and now is slowly recovering and has probably what you call bully issues in her team of colleagues. You know, and I worked on that with her, and we talked before, and then I do pre-tests to check if it is clear. And one of the last pre-tests is I let the person say, my name is Bruno, and I am in the here and now. And in the here and now, he had a no response.
Mm.
So, and then I asked, I said, let's see what your system says. And I gave a choice. Is it important just to bring you in the here and now with an exercise? Or is it better just to go deeper because of that? And that was the second choice. And we came to a 7-year-old girl she was with an abuse issue. Mm. Which makes a lot of sense when you again later in life victim.
Or bullying, right? Like that's that she was being bullied at work. So a common pattern showed up in her body.
This happened within 7 minutes without talking about it. I mean, 10 sessions or whatever, you know. I mean, this is for me the elegance of muscle response work.
Because you take out their conscious mind, right? Because all that information is stored in the organs of the body, just as a reminder that your emotions are not in your head, right? Your emotions are in your organs of your body. Yeah. Can you speak to that for a moment? How the organs store your emotions?
Have you ever heard from the book from Candice Pert? It's called, what is called in English? Molecules of Emotions, something like that.
Emotions. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful book and explains it scientifically. So we ourselves are all interconnected, and we people living in the biological medicine world, we know that very, very well. For instance, you know how much influence the gut has on our state of our brain, etc. So it's all interconnected, and we have different levels, and sometimes I find it a little bit difficult to say it in a linear language. We have different levels, but it's all interconnected and it works simultaneously. And therefore, it is possible, for instance, if a biological dentist is doing all the dental work he can do, very often a person has 70% of improvement of their conditions. Or if someone clears the gut, the depression goes away. Or if I help someone clearing out her trauma, she improves on the physical level. So it's all interconnected.
Yeah, beautiful. And so now the position you've taken, and, you know, to try to change subjects, you know, just so everybody will summarize that a little bit. Bottom line is you have a tool in your body, your autonomic nervous system, that can be accessed to help a practitioner that's very skilled and very artistic and very much has honed that skill to, as much as they can, empty out any preconceived notions of what might be going on, to really access the information that the body is leaking out through its energy body to try to resolve some kind of issue underneath. And that when we do that, we can get to it really, really fast, because the conscious mind isn't attached to it. It's coming from the subconscious mind. And from what I can tell, the information you pulled today typically would have taken months, if not years, in a talk it out therapy approach, versus getting the body to tell you how it's feeling, so that feeling can be released, let go of, and the body can be left into that healing capacity, because it's almost like the nervous system gets caught up in that sympathetic node, right? Because it's not in the here and now, right? She wasn't present. She was 7 years ago. She was fighting that abuse from 7 years old still. And so she was in that fight flight mode, correct?
So yeah, no, I explained it a little bit differently.
Okay.
My explanation is that because of the old wound that hasn't a chance yet to heal, her soul, or whatever you may call it, was like in making re-enseaning something in her life that creates the same kind of feelings, and with the old wish to heal finally.
Mm. Mm.
So you can look at what happened in your life, and you will find always opportunities to heal something. So it's not about the others, it's about ourselves.
So it's about the fact that I'll keep running and finding the same kind of situations in my life because it's my body trying to heal. That comes more from the Colleen Tipping perspective of radical forgiveness, right? Are you familiar with
Which
that?
I am also a radical forgiveness coach.
Yes, I forgot about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only there, but there it's a very prominent part of that work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is his background, that you can understand why he's so incredible, because he understands the body as a whole, and he's got this business background. So now he's running this as the CEO of the Paracelsus Clinic in Switzerland, which is an amazing facility with how many doctors, nurses, how many patients do you see there? Just give me a scope of that. I mean, I know we're in the COVID right now, so everything's changed, but
yeah.
Prior to COVID, what was explain the approach of the Paracelsus a little bit, if you would, for those that don't know.
Yeah, so basically the Paracelsus Clinic goes back to 1958, that long. And it was always under the name Paracelsus, which is important. And today we have around 73 people working for the clinic. So we have 5 doctors for the moment, we have 2 dentists, we have nurses, we have operational staff, we have therapists, etc. And we have a medical department, a dental department, and a pharmacy.
And people come from, I mean, we talked about it a little bit with Dr. Rao the other day, but people come far and wide, like across the world, to come get treatments there, because they're just things that you do at the clinic that people can't do otherwise. And what's the majority of the type of diagnoses and problems that you deal with there at the clinic?
Well, where we are strong is for instance, in general, chronic diseases, unclear diseases. This may be something that Thomas Rao also mentioned, because that's very important. Autoimmune diseases, etc. So we have, let's say, 2 groups of patients. One has a fresh diagnosis and starts looking for alternatives, and the other have an odyssey in conventional medicine and trying to find another solution.
And from your experience, what separates the Paracelsus and biological medicine from allopathic, functional, integrative medicine?
Well, from allopathic medicine, I can certainly explain maybe first. It's the holistic approach, and looking at the root cause first, and understanding the body as a whole interfunctioning system, bioregulating system, yeah. Because I like also very much the term bioregulatory medicine, because in some ways it's a little bit self-explaining, yeah. We call it biological medicine, but it's the same for me. And then really addressing the root cause and finding a way what blocked the regulation, how we can deblock the system, how we can help the body to regenerate which also allopathic medicine is not looking at, because after you take the pill, the pain is away, the problem is resolved, which we know very often is not. And then, of course, including all levels, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual.
Right, right. And so I know a lot of our people that are watching this are like, well, I've done the detox and I've done the hydrocolon therapy and I'm doing the coffee enemas and I've done the holistic approach and I'm doing my yoga and I've done it all, but I'm still not well. What do you find, you know, in your experience and now as a CEO of the clinic, where would you say what are they missing? What are they not looking at?
That's difficult for me to say because I'm not a medical professional person. Yeah. But as far as I understand it, when such patients are here, but a very repeated feedback we get, they have seen never something like that as complete and as really holistic. You know, you go to the therapist and or to a nutritional consultant, then you go to a homeopathic doctor, then you go to maybe a chiropractor, or then you go to someone who does the colonics, etc. Here, one doctor looks at your whole situation. The patient gets in the first day where he's here an X-ray, panoramic X-ray of the teeth, and the doctor has this available, so he can assess the whole situation. Then extensive testing, which also is something we have developed over the years, what we can test. For instance, something maybe Dr. Haas mentioned it, which is important, a genetic test. If your sister is able to detox, extremely important. And if you don't do that, you can detox as much as you want. It will not really change. So all the in-depth work here, and then the intensive therapies, you know. When people are here, they have treatments the whole day for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
And what I find so unique about what Paracelsus Clinic has done is that the hydrocolon therapist is in communication with the medical doctor in charge of their case. And
yes.
The myofascial therapist, the lymphatic therapist, the emotional therapist, the heart math therapist, whoever it is also working with the medical team, and the dental team and the medical team have communication, you know, and I find so much in the States, it's so separated, you know, and one person is seeing the case, and the client is just going from person to person to person looking for a holistic approach, but it's still segmented. It's still separated. And you know, somebody will say to me, oh, well, I went to my medical doctor and they don't really work on the emotional approach because they're just looking at my blood work. And I'm like, well, regardless if they think they're working on your emotions, they're maybe not conscious of it, but how they administer that work and how they approach you and is handling your emotional body. Just like when you go to the massage therapist or the Reiki specialist or the emotional guru, and they're not going to work on your physical body. Well, you can't separate them. And for us, what we've learned from the Paracelsus Clinic and being a student of that clinic and many of the clinics in Germany and the Switzerland approach is that you can't separate the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual in life. So why would you do it in treatment of health and wellness? And it's a very unique approach, obviously, that the Paracelsus has. And you know, the patient output or the outcomes rather, are vast because the amount of capacity of what you can really handle there. And I just know for those that are searching, you know, you're looking for a different approach. You're looking for somebody to really oversee your whole case. You're looking for, you know, I'm stuck. I have, you know, the unexplained illness that nobody can really figure out. This is a great place to start with, and a great place to understand how your body really works, where they'll handle from your teeth to your whole body. It's absolutely amazing. And and I know you're not a medical professional, and I appreciate that, but you are running the business at the Paracelsus Clinic. And what do you think is, for me, I'll just say this, for me, in working in the biological system, I love IVs. I'm a weird one. I love getting them. I love giving them. I love needles. I love neural therapy. I love them. I really do. I'm an odd person and I love them. But about 2 years ago, honestly, through Sound the Soul and some other things, my husband, who's very similar to your energy, he has really tried to get me to learn for 20 years that I've been with him that it's about being centered. It's about, and often at the clinic, I know with Dr. Rao's teachings and so forth, he's treating the person to change their lifestyle, to change their thought processes, to change. It's not just, if you could just speak about the fact that it's not just about the IVs and the pills and the neural therapies and the therapies and the dental pieces. There's a whole other body in there that's, I find, the most important body, that when that's in alignment, and honestly, Wolfgang, I believe that you exemplify that alignment so beautifully. When I was honestly with him last Halloween, I was with him for a little bit. We were all in Baden-Baden together. And I've been with Wolfgang at meditation circles. I've been with him at trainings. And the meditation circle we did, I just felt so honored to sit next to him because I could feel his energy like vibrating over to my energy. And he has an amazing even keel about him. He has an amazing quality that makes everybody feel calmer when they're with him or around him. And what is that about? How did you get there? How did we help others? And what do they need to know about that piece of their health?
Thank you for the question. First thing that comes to my mind, I'm very human. I have my own issues and I try to take care of them. And I think I have a gift from life that I have this energy. And very often people give me a feedback, say, it's really special. You are a calm person, etc., etc. And sometimes I'm astonished because inside I feel different. That's why I say it's a gift, And that's why I realized at some point of my life, I really want to work closer with people and help people. And then I think I have quite a strong intuition. So that helps me to understand very quickly a central point for someone I work with. And this is very helpful. So I can come to the point, to the crucial points very quickly. And then I try to be self-conscious and to be aligned, what you beautifully described before. And also I try to see myself as being part of the universal healing energy. And also, as we are talking, I see you also in that energy. As well, I see myself in that energy. And I don't want to intervene in that. I try to help to open up.
The podcast is called The Beats with Kelly Kennedy and From Our Hearts to Yours. And it's really about not meds, which is naturally oriented therapists, medically enlightened doctors and specialists. And
it's a great acronym. I love it.
Thank you. And I have to give my husband credit for the acronym. I came up with the name, he came up with the acronym, but he knew what my approach was and really what we are looking for, all of us. As I started this journey 23 years ago for my own health, and I felt compelled in my whole life to really teach people about how their body works. I wanted to find out how my body works, so I knew I wouldn't get sick, having the genetic envelope that I was given in this world. And I really do have a sense of extreme peace and calm from an understanding of how my body works, so that during any crisis right now that we're all managing this coronavirus, I don't honestly feel that it's a crisis for my healthcare system, me personally, because of all the therapies and the work and the unleashing of the blockades and all the processes that I've gone through in the last 23 years to regain my health has only accelerated my health and caused me to feel like I'm 12 years old. And I do all my autonomic nervous system tests and I go, oh my gosh, I swear I get younger every single year I do this. This is absolutely incredible. I'm biologically going younger. And I hope now that you've watched many of these podcasts that you're starting to understand there's more to the body than taking supplements and going to a chiropractor and acupuncturist. While those are all very valid and very amazing things, there's so much more body that is that spiritual side of us, that emotional side of us that does so much of the healing. And I know a lot of the practitioners that I bring to have the exact opposite energy of me where I'm like, and they're like calm and cool, but it's that balance that we find, because let me tell you, they all have the same level of passion and drive that I do. I just am a bit more expressive about it than some, because this is who I am. This is just my natural little 12-year-old self that is a little kid in a candy store with this particularly. I am living my dreams. And I want everybody to really take on what we talked about today, that, well, you know, we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We are still a physical being. This emotional body has a healing capacity in it. And when you have a skilled practitioner that can help you get there faster while you're doing all the other things, and you're working with a clinician, a practitioner, a doctor that's overseeing the case and making sure that all the boxes are checked, from the emotional, the physical, the dental piece, your body, this is the key, your body has the capacity to heal. Yes. Because in talking with Dr. Rao yesterday, I know you guys had an opportunity to have a very special situation where during the coronavirus, clients got stuck, if you will, at the Paracelsus clinic for months instead of weeks. As I said to Dr. Rao, I don't know if you can consider yourself stuck at the Paracelsus clinic, because it's like you become a brand new person by going through all those therapies. And, you know, I just applaud you so much for all the work you're doing, and we thank you from our hearts to disseminate this information, to be running the clinic and doing what you're doing to help expand biological, bioregulatory science, to get people really to understand that they're not victims in this world and that we have control over our bodies. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Wolfgang? I want to give them access to you, please.
I would add something to what you just said as a last thing from this patient that got stuck, you know, because of the virus situation. And did Dr. Rao tell what the problem was of this patient?
The pancreatic cancer?
Yeah. So we just recorded a testimonial video with them before they left, and will be released soon. It's really touching. And I mentioned this because body-mind medicine was extremely important. She had some sessions with our kinesiologist, Monica, and within that one of the sessions, she realized, oh, I want to live.
Oh, I just got chills.
Yeah, you can. Because the husband told the story, and it was a turning point, because I'm touched as well, you know. I'm close to water. And well, when she came back that evening, he said, oh, you are different. So he felt it. And that was a turning point. And of course,
her husband felt it. Her husband felt the difference.
Yes.
So that's incredible.
Very strongly. And from there on, it went like that. Also, all the physical therapies, they could really work, you know, and the result was, I mean, extraordinary.
And please make sure, I know I'll see that, but be happy to send that to us, because we will promote that here, and we will demonstrate that here too, because I so appreciate you being touched, because I think that I feel that that's what people want to see. That's what they want to see. And that's what they want to feel again, is that somebody is attached and engaged in my wellness beyond just me. They feel so desperate. They feel so disconnected from the practitioners they're working with. And he's not the medical professional, supposedly. He's the CEO of the Paracelsus Clinic. And it's the first time that I'm not the only one crying on the podcast, which thank you for that, because this is real what's happening. And I want people to feel that. And I know that they felt that from you. And I know that when we get an opportunity to see that, they're going to feel that as well.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
really sure what just happened. You did. Oh, that was weird. You just disappeared for me for a second.
Oh.
But you know, that was absolutely beautiful. And we look forward to hearing that story. So,
Yeah.
you know, folks, please know that, first of all, you can find the Paracelsus Clinic at Paracelsus. We'll put that here at the link, paracelsus.ch, correct?
Or .com.
Or .com. Oh, that's great. That's right. I knew that. .com. And Wolfgang can be accessed through his LinkedIn, which we'll put down here as well. And I understand that you have a book coming out, sir.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. It's already released in German, and now the last proofreading is done in English. It's called Think, Feel, Recognize, and it's a collection of some articles I wrote every week last year on Facebook, and it's comes from inspirations I got from everyday routines, and I refer that to our internal process and our personal development. So it's a collection of texts, and you can just flip a little bit and pick out something. It's not a book to read through from A to Z.
Oh, I look so forward to that book. I can't wait to get it and have it accessible through our library here on Not Meds, because we have a library to access really good books that are really here to help you. So that sounds absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Wolfgang, for your time and attention. And we hope that today you have a better understanding of your physical body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body, knowing how your body really works. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll see you next time on the Beats with Kelly Kennedy. Thank you so much from our hearts to yours.
It was my pleasure. Goodbye.